Hello, and welcome to Leadership Table Talk, a show designed to help you develop and improve your leadership skills and talents. I'm your host, Dr. Mary Gillam. In case this is your first time watching the show, let me tell you just a little bit about myself. I am a retired Air Force colonel and former member of the Senior Executive Service Corps with the Department of Defense at the Pentagon. I am also a #1 Amazon bestselling author and the owner of M2G Dynamic Leadership Solutions. Today's episode is entitled Leading with Integrity, Dignity, and Style. To discuss this topic with me is a wonderful couple that I've known for many years now, Minister Rosalyn Lynch and Elder Willie Lynch from the National Church of God. Welcome to the show.
So glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, let's just begin by telling our audience a little bit about your backgrounds.
Well, I am Minister Rosalyn Lynch, and I was actually born in Amityville, Long Island, New York. Wow. I attended Howard University, where I received my Bachelor of Music Education, and I followed that with the Masters of Education in Supervision and Administration, again from Howard University.
Yes. Brother Willie.
I am Willie Lynch. I was born and raised in Georgia.
Wow.
In Coweta County. I also got my undergraduate degree from Clark College, which is now Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta.
Yes.
And I met my wife. We were pursuing our master's degree at Howard University, and we both achieved the master's degree in education.
Oh, wonderful. That was going to be my next question. How did you guys actually meet?
Yes.
So would you guys like to expound on it any more on that particular topic, how you actually met and everything?
Sure.
Yes, we were in the classroom taking courses, of course, pursuing our degrees, and I became quite intrigued and quite interested in this marvelous young lady, and I got enough nerve along the way to ask her if we could go out and have dinner together, and she agreed, and the rest essentially has been history.
Oh my goodness. And so I know you guys have 2 children. So I know we weren't going to necessarily talk about that, but I would like to talk about your children. and just let people know the fact that you had a set of twins, and just tell them a little bit more about their accomplishments.
Yes, we do have a set of identical twin daughters. They are 30 years old right now. And the first one, Victoria Noel Lynch, received her law degree from Howard Law School, and she is an attorney at Pillsbury Winthrop Shaw Pittman firm. And our second twin, Angelique Cynthia Lynch, is actually a doctor. She just graduated from Howard Medical School just this past May. So both of them have achieved very much in life. We're very proud of them.
Oh, that is wonderful.
And they're singers as well.
Absolutely. Brother Willie, you look like you wanted to say something.
I was about to bring up how talented they are when it comes to the music, the ministry of music, because they sing extraordinarily well.
Wow, that's
and they're quite accomplished, and they've been singing in local churches and also some of the community groups that have been formed through the years, and we're quite proud of them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
You know, the Bible states that your gift will make room for you. When did you both realize that music was such a special part of your lives?
I realized it when I was 8 years old. I would sit down at the piano and begin composing tunes.
Wow.
I actually played one for my father one day, and he recognized my talent and my ability, and he immediately enrolled me in music lessons. I started playing the piano at the age of 9. I was auditioned at the Juilliard School of Music. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend because we lived too far from that school. So I was put in private lessons, and I remained with her. I was the Amityville Public School accompanist. and I was the winner of all New York State piano competitions while I was growing up. And so we recognized it very early and at a very young age.
Oh, that is wonderful.
And then just to add to that, in my own background, I was an instrumental music teacher, but prior to that, I went to Clark. When I mentioned Clark, my undergraduate degree was in instrumental music. And I focused on band, orchestra during that particular time, and then I became, in the late 60s, I became a teacher in Georgia. It's called Tatnall County, Georgia, Reedsville, Georgia, way down, close to Savannah, Georgia. I became a teacher there. It was my first teaching job, and in teaching instrumental music. So I was the band teacher, and that entails my music experience.
Yes. Well, I've had a couple of shows on mentorship, and so did you guys by chance have a mentor in your lives as you were going through your training and so forth?
Well, actually, my dad was my mentor. He was an excellent singer, an excellent pianist. All of his brothers were excellent singers, excellent musicians. I had one uncle who played the guitar and sang. I had another uncle who blew the sax and sang. So they were my mentors, and my dad especially had great interest in music. He was the one that would say, you're not going to go outside and play, you're going to sit here and practice.
Oh my goodness.
When my mother would want me to do chores, he would tell her, no, she has to practice. And so he actually encouraged me and mentored me to become the best musician that I could become.
Oh, Pastor Roz, that is wonderful. Because a lot of times, you know, we talk about from a leadership perspective, things that should come from outward, but internally in the homes, the leadership that parents provide.
Absolutely.
Can you guys just elaborate on that, not only from your own personal journey, but what you have provided in terms of your daughters as well, that leadership in the home?
We do believe that you need to strive for excellence.
Yes, absolutely.
And we instilled that in our children. That was instilled in me. I know it was instilled in my husband by his father and mother. And as a result of that, it has really brought us to a place of success in our lives. Of course, we give all honor to God for that.
Absolutely.
But there are natural components that you must have and that you must pursue. To be a good leader requires training.
Yes.
You must have the training. Some people want to step out and just start leading, but you need to be trained how to do that. So having a father who was a pastor, a grandfather who was a pastor, and uncles who were pastors, I had vast exposure to leadership. And that came down to me. And then I was, of course, educated in leadership. And all those components together have brought me to where I am today.
Oh, that's wonderful, Pastor Roz.
And clearly, my father, coming out of Georgia, was the first city council member, first black person elected to the city council in Georgia. It was Noonan, Georgia, which is Cayuga County. And he was just a natural leader himself, a real natural-born leader. And my mother was very active in church activities, and she clearly was the head of this and the head of that. So we saw a lot of leadership in our parents, and because they were extraordinary role models, and we were just so grateful to have grown up with such wonderful, wonderful parents.
Oh, that is wonderful. Since you're talking about leadership and different perspectives, I know that at Howard, you were in leadership in a role there. Can you talk about that particular group that you started while you were at
well,
Howard?
yes. Actually, in my third year, my junior year at Howard University, I went to sleep one Sunday afternoon to take a nap. And while I was sleeping, I had a dream. And in that dream, I saw the formation of the Howard Gospel Choir. And I saw this choir singing on the steps of the Fine Arts Building on the main campus. Upon waking up, I immediately went across the hall to my girlfriend and to share this dream with her. And come to find out, she had had the exact same dream. Wow. So we knew it was meant to be established. That was a sunny afternoon. So the next day, Monday, when we went to classes, she immediately went to her chaplain of the Methodist Club there on campus. Reverend Harold Bell was his name. He's deceased now, bless his heart. And he actually contacted Richard Smallwood, Leon Roberts, Wesley Boyd, Henry Mackenzie Davis. These are all fine musicians, and I'm sure everyone knows Richard Smallwood. And asked them to actually get it started. So our first rehearsal was in the chapel on Howard's campus. They were heading it up. I was the president, my girlfriend was the co-president, and from there, the rest is history. Never dreamt that that choir would be the beginning of gospel choirs on all college campuses across the world and all high school campuses as well.
Oh my goodness.
That choir was started in 1968.
I did not know that. That is, I sung in the gospel choir at A&T, but I did not know the history.
Yes.
That, and to have met you, to know that you were instrumental in actually starting the gospel choirs that we now know today, because I had the privilege of hearing an ensemble of the choir not too long ago.
Yes.
And man, they were awesome.
They are awesome. They have always been awesome. It was just the hand of God upon them. They recognized me as the visionary, one of the visionaries for that choir. And of course, we have those who actually did the work to start it. But we had the vision. Without the vision, the people perish.
Absolutely.
So that choir actually came from a time of turmoil. When there was turmoil on the campus, there was turmoil in the city, a lot of race riots going on, and that choir was the vision for students who needed to be able to access God in the middle of all of this rioting, pain, agony. They were burning down stores and so forth, stores on 14th Street, fires, so forth, and this choir was our peace.
Oh, wow.
It brought peace to us. It reminded us that God is still in control, no matter what's going on. And that choir gave us the courage to go on.
Yeah, oh, Pastor, that was so eloquently said there. But it looks like we are coming up on a break, and so please stay tuned, and we will be back with you shortly. Thank you.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back to Leadership Table Talk. My guests today are a wonderful couple actually that I've known for a while. And so we're talking about leadership, integrity, and style. And so I want to pick up there and talk with Elder Willie Lynch here about his time in the government. And why does integrity, honor, and dignity play a role in a leader's life? Can you expound on that, please?
I had the opportunity to serve the government of the District of Columbia for 39 years prior to retiring in 2002. And what I did prior to that was I was a public school teacher. And I served as a public school teacher for 12 years before I went into the government and was essentially serving in various capacities. I had the opportunity to serve as chief of staff for the District of Columbia's budget office for 14 years. And in that particular job, integrity was extremely important because we're counting, we have to be accountable when it comes to the public dollars. And it was extremely important, not only that we would just be accountable as we related to taxpayer dollars, it was important that we possessed the characteristics that would let the public know that their money was being managed, if you will, by people of goodwill, people who were responsible, people who were quite responsive, and people who clearly understand that this was not their money, but the public's money, and you certainly have to have incredible integrity in doing that. I also served the City Council of the District of Columbia. I was the Chief of Staff for a council member. We are in Washington, D.C., we're located into 8 wards, and it was Ward 7 that I served this council member as his chief of staff. And I was working in that particular position when I left government. And government service really did so much for me. And I also served at a particular point. I performed in a contractual relationship, which was to recruit citizens to become poll workers. Because again, we needed integrity in the voting system as well, and not have races and skewed or compromised. And that was a very, very interesting process where registered voters had to have those particular qualifications in order to serve as a poll worker. And I enjoyed bringing, because what was happening, many of the poll workers historically have been seniors. Many of the senior citizens have passed away, and as a result, we have needed to move away from seniors, and then technology has come into play. And we had to make sure that people were competent enough to serve as the poll workers. And therein lies the 39-year journey in the government of the District of Columbia and my service.
Oh, that is wonderful, Elder. Now, let's talk a little bit about team dynamics and so forth. And what does it take to create an effective team?
Well, to create an effective team, you must first be a good leader.
Yes.
And you must be a person of integrity, which you have already established. You must set an example for those that you want to work with. But also, you need to incorporate the ideas of others. In order to have an effective team, they have to feel a part of the team. And for them to feel a part of the team, you have to allow them to use their creative talents and allow them to express their views and their opinions of what is happening on that particular topic. So it requires cooperation from everyone. You can't be a person who's a dictator, but you must allow freedom of speech, if I could put it like that, for every participant on that team. They need to be able to take ownership of the team, and they can take ownership if they feel like they are valued as an important person, that their opinions are valued.
That is wonderful. Elder, would you like to?
I had in serving in those various capacities, particularly in the budget office, was no way that I could count, even from a leadership standpoint. Though I was chief of staff, I had to have a team working for me that understood clearly that no one person could make this really work effectively. It required teamwork, 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 teamwork. And the same thing when I moved to the council, the city council of the District of Columbia. I had a full staff, complement of staff there as well. And those staff members needed to feel that they were an integral part of, and that the success of the operation depended upon teamwork, good communication, responsiveness, commitment to the citizenry, and not to yourselves and not egotistical leaders or being egotistical and not very, very helpful at all in a government system. But teamwork is germane.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Elder, you should run for office. But Pastor Ross, I want to ask you, because I know that you're not only just the minister of music at a very large church here in Maryland, but also you have recently launched your own ministry under God's direction. Can you talk a little bit about your ministry?
Absolutely. Well, having done this for 40 plus years as director of church music and having the opportunity to lead people into worship, it was placed in my heart 1 year ago to begin a worship ministry that is open to all creed, all religions, just the community in general, no specific doctrine. It's not it's not under any particular title. It's open to the public. And it's a time that we come in and we just worship freely, however you want. There are no requirements. There are no dress requirements. There are no any type of requirement. Just come in and be free to worship God. It's called the Rosalyn, Tompkins, Lynch Ministries Incorporated. We meet once a month, usually on the fourth Saturday of the month at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So you can do what you want to do in the morning. You can do what you want to do at night. But in the afternoon, we come together and we worship. It's been in existence for 1 year now. It has been an awesome experience.
Yes,
We've had people come as far as New York, up in New York. We've had people come as far as deep down in Waynesboro, Virginia. They come from all over because they're looking for a place where they can just be free to worship God the way they want without any restriction, any limitations, any denominational guidelines, just freely worship. And it has been an awesome experience.
So how can people get in contact with you regarding the ministry?
We actually send out this postcard.
Yes.
You can actually reach us at my address, okay, which is, well, we can actually post this for you, but if you can contact me directly, and you can phone us at 202-766-3301.
Okay, we will
and
make
that is
sure
the ministry number,
people
okay?
get that.
And they can actually call that number. There is a person that is assigned to answer that number, and anything they want to know, they will be advised about it.
Now
You can also follow us on Facebook.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask.
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter as well.
Right, and so on Facebook, it's just under the name of the ministry?
It's under the name of Rosalyn Tompkins Lynch Ministries Incorporated.
Okay, wonderful. Because I wanted to make sure that people understood that is as well, that you're not just the minister of music, but you do have your ministry as well. Now, you started that as a nonprofit?
I did. It is a nonprofit organization. Your contributions are tax deductible.
Can you just tell our audience a little bit about what it takes to start a nonprofit, since you have actually gone through it?
Yes. Oh, it's a tremendous amount of work. You have to make sure that you line up according to the federal guidelines, of course, to the district where you live guidelines. You have to put in the proper paperwork, okay? And you really need to make sure that your business is in order.
Yes.
Because without that, you'll get into trouble down the road. Because we stand for integrity, we had to make sure that all of our paperwork was properly filed before we started the ministry.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
everything was in order before we had our actual first service. We must be people of integrity.
Yes.
And in order to create integrity, you have to do things in an integral way.
Yes.
So it's important that when you start a business that's nonprofit, you need to make sure that the money is definitely being used wisely and for the sake of the ministry.
Yes.
It doesn't go into my pocket.
Yes.
It doesn't go into the pocket of any of our workers.
Yes.
It goes to the support of the ministry. And that's what a 501c3 is. It means that you are doing something for the community that they can profit from. And you will not profit from, but you're giving out.
Absolutely.
You're pouring out to them and giving them an opportunity to share in something that is meaningful in their lives.
So what you have said really sums up leadership. Leaders have to be givers.
Yes.
They have to be givers and not
Yes.
takers, but they have to be able to pour into the lives of others.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, or do you guys have maybe one tip that you would give a budding leader today? Something that a new leader can really get their teeth into to succeed.
Let me add just one thing. For people who have, the Bible suggests that we perish because we have no vision. There can be just a creative idea, just an idea. First of all, don't try to move too quickly and create a business. Understand first that the vision has to be in your head. A number of people are not aware that Walt Disney simply had a vision long before there was any construction. And then when people understand that they have the vision of an idea, move on that idea, activate that idea, believe in that idea, and you can move forward because you have the determination to go forward. Determined, determined, determined.
Well, you know, that's a good note to end on. It looks like our time is up for today, but I want to thank you guys for just being here, taking the time out of your busy schedules to be with us today. And I want to thank you for watching this show. I know that you have been inspired by our guests, and that as you continue your leadership journey, there are things that you will take away from this particular show to benefit you. And so if you have any questions at all, please contact me at m2gleadershipbiz.com. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.